Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for coming tonight. I want to give some folks just a minute or two more to join us. And then we'll get started. All right. I'll wait just one more minute.
We are at 38 participants. I wish I could see everybody, but
I know,
in the interest of time,
Yes.
trying to keep
Me
this
too.
short.
All right, well, welcome and thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Mara and this is my first summer as ACE coordinator. My first summer was spent with the operations team, and then I stepped into the role of ACE coordinator in September of 2020. And believe it or not, my entire time at Saturday Academy has been spent working remote. So I'm looking forward to the days where we can all safely return, be together again, and I can actually see our mentors' wonderful faces joining us at orientation in person. And speaking of the operations team, I'd like to take a moment to thank our operations team, specifically the Director of Operations, Eric Polgar, for supporting our webinar tonight, as well as Programs and Outreach Director, Rachel Pecor Valdez, for joining us.
Hello, everybody. So this will be my 5th year actually with Saturday Academy. I've been on the classes side of things and have overheard what's going on with ACE through the wall back at the office, back in the old days. And it's been really exciting this year to learn more about the ACE program and how it works. And I hope to get to meet you all at some point. But basically, my background is in environmental science. I am an Oregon State alum and got my start in the Mengi Lubchenco lab, actually, doing research on rocky intertidal reefs in Oregon and California. And while my home is now in education, I can say that that experience and really getting to participate in the research process continues to serve me today. So everything you are doing for students, you'll hear this from us this whole time, but it's so important. And regardless of their career paths, it's a really important experience.
Thanks, Rachel. Tonight kicks off another great summer and another one that stands out in the highlights of your commitment to mentorship. You have all made another summer possible despite the uncertainties and limitations of COVID-19, and there are no words to sufficiently thank you on behalf of our team and the students you have selected as this year's interns. We received some of the largest numbers of applications this year, showing how much students thirst for the opportunity to grow their confidence and hands-on experiences. Overall, by being here tonight, I'd like you to know that you're part of a larger community with a shared interest in guiding and training the next generation of science and technology professionals. For our agenda tonight, we will share Saturday Academy's commitment to equity, and Rachel will share a bit on trauma-informed mentorship, review program basics and tips for best practices, including some ideas on remote internships and how to balance hybrid internships, as well as what programmatic supports are in place for you throughout this summer. Please note that the webinar has a chat and Q&A enabled, so fire away your questions as they come up and we can address them at the end of the presentation. Rachel will also be helping in the chat as we move through the presentation. Additionally, let us know if you have any technical difficulties by calling 503-200-5858. Here is a great shot of the 2019 interns at our midsummer conference at OSU. We are unable to gather in 2020 and we will be unable to gather again this summer, but I hope to create a great group photo next summer. And although this summer's cohort won't get to take a group photo and show us their smiling faces, we are sure this summer will produce just as many happy interns. Like I said, this year had over 480 applicants for what ended up being 72 positions. Again, this was a complicated summer to arrange the internships as applicants applied from all over the state and some from as far as Southern California, Georgia, and New Jersey. Additionally, all of our organizations are in varying stages of returning to the office, so being flexible about your in-person and virtual internships is much appreciated. This year, we have internships as far north as Vancouver, Washington, and as far south as Eugene. ACE has been around for 32 years. So yes, Saturday Academy's ACE program has a long history. 32 years of ACE couldn't happen without you, the amazing support of our mentors and partners. I'm told this photo dates back to the 1990s at the Center for the Coastal Margin Observation and Prediction. We now have many generations of mentors and interns, even ACE alum returning now to become mentors. This year, one of our teacher monitors is an ACE alum. I'll tell you more about our teacher monitors soon.
So the Apprenticeships in Science and Engineering is just one of Saturday Academy's programs. We also offer all kinds of classes during the school year and during summer breaks. Our mission is to engage young people in hands-on, in-depth learning and career exploration by connecting them with expert instructors and mentors like yourselves in authentic professional settings. So we were founded in 1983 and continue to provide experiences designed to spark curiosity and really foster a love of learning in our students and interns. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and we are affiliated with the University of Portland. All of our programs rely on either grants or program revenue for support, and really your passion and commitment, and whether this is your first year to ACE or you've been here for the entire 32 years, I know we have some really long-term mentors. We really can't thank you enough. You are the core of Saturday Academy. Go ahead and slide. Yeah. So central to our mission is our commitment to equity. And just to be clear, equity is different than equality because we recognize that not everyone is starting from the same place, right? So with the same resources or support systems. So you may have an internship with two different students, and those two students will need different things so to be successful in their internship. So one student may need a work-issued laptop, and we can help you with that if that's the case. And another may need more encouragement to know that their ideas and questions belong. And looking at this graph, it's from 2015. If there's a more recent one, I would love to see it. Go ahead and email it to me. I couldn't find one. But this is workers in science and engineering occupations, and really demonstrates which groups are underrepresented in STEM. And we recognize that as a high school program, we are really in a position to help support individuals from underrepresented groups, whether it's women, Black or Latinx, explore science and engineering. And it's my hope that as the inventors and the makers and designers, that the products that you develop will be more useful to more people by including more perspectives in the design process. So that's kind of a big picture. One thing, and this could be an entire presentation, right? And there's a lot of resources in equity and STEM on the internet, and I encourage you to explore those. But one thing as ACE mentors that you can do to is really encourage STEM identity with your interns. So whether it's unconscious or subtle, some interns may be coming, this may be their first professional workplace. They may be coming with a mindset that I can't be an engineer, or science and math aren't for people like me. I don't know how I got here. There is also a whole body of research on imposter syndrome, but small things that you can do is to encourage your interns to believe that STEM is for them if they decide to pursue a career in it. And as Saturday Academy staff, teacher monitors, and you as mentors, we are part of their community in this journey, right? So we can both just support them with encouragement, but also, for example, if you happen to have an all-male team and you're working with a female intern, let us know. There are support systems. We're not, of course, expecting that you're going to go hire a female intern in the next month or so or a female mentor to help support that intern. But there's a group called Women in Science in Portland, for example, that we can connect them with. So there is a broader ecosystem of support that we want you to know is available. So a couple of years ago, I believe Libby and some Saturday Academy staff put together, this is about just some resources for you as mentors to just reflect on your own career journey, how you got where you are, and most importantly, who helped you get where you are. There's, we can put this link in the chat. This is on our website, and it's a few videos and prompts. Shouldn't take more than 36 to 60 minutes. We know you're very busy, to just help you imagine what your intern experience, what the experience you're providing an intern might be like from their perspective. So I really encourage you to check that out. And then lastly, this also is an entire body of research in its own topic, and I'm just going to touch really lightly on it. I know some of the mentors here study trauma in excruciating detail. I would love to learn more about it, honestly. So one thing before Mara jumps more into program basics and logistics is really, I want us all to just acknowledge that 2020 was pretty stressful for some more than others, and it's not over. So we are still going through overlapping global crises of COVID-19, racism, and increased natural disasters. So there's a lot going on this year, right? And continuing to go on. So I would highly encourage you to go to Trauma Informed Oregon. It's a website. They have a ton of resources. You can really go down a rabbit hole. It's very informative for what trauma-informed approach is. But for the purposes of onboarding your interns coming up in a couple of weeks or a month, three principles of trauma-informed care are to really think about safety, prediction, and transparency. So before your intern arrives, think about what physical COVID protocols is your office or workplace operating by, and be sure and communicate that and be very clear, and talk to your intern too. Is there anything you're worried about? Prediction is really important too, to help manage anxiety. So if you can set up routines early on, when have set routines with your check-in tomorrow. We'll go more into this in a little bit, but also let your interns know they can take breaks. So especially the ones who are working virtually. I know sometimes interns think they need to be sitting there for 8 hours a day. They can take breaks, drink water, take care of themselves, right? And transparency, don't leave things for the interns to just figure out. If you're coming into a new place, there's a certain level of nervousness and anxiety to begin with. And so being just very clear and communicative upfront will help people regulate and have a positive experience early on. So again, Trauma Informed Oregon, great resource. I will stop there and give it to Mara to get into the program logistics.
Thank you for sharing that, Rachel. I thought that was great. And a lot of these topics that we're seeing in trauma-informed mentorship are going to come through as just good practices for being a mentor anyway. So I think that was a really great topic to touch on. So let's change gears a little bit and cover program basics. The Apprenticeships in Science and Engineering program is a summer internship program for 9th to 11th grade students, providing a transformational experience and opportunity in hands-on real-life careers. Typically, the internships are 8 weeks long, but this summer, like last summer, we are being somewhat flexible around this usually strict requirement on a case-by-case basis. We have been telling students the expectation is 296 hours, which is about 8 weeks, 5 days a week full-time. If there are any barriers to reaching this requirement, please let us know and we will work with you and your intern to maximize your contact hours. The ACE program is more than just an internship. We also do workshops, 2 conferences. We have liability insurance, and we help with stipend disbursements for those interns that receive stipends. The ACE program supports you and your interns with site visits. Many will be online this year, and program evaluations led by your teacher monitors. Your teacher monitors also lead the interns in writing formal thank you letters at the end of the summer. Teacher monitors are also a primary resource for facilitating and moderating if any issues are to arise. Our teacher monitors are school teachers and after-school enrichment teachers during the school year and spend their summers working with ACE. They know how to manage issues and communicate with high school aged students if there are any conflicts that cannot be worked out between the mentor and mentee. One prime example would be if you're having a hard time enforcing COVID protocols with your student, like if their mask falls during conversations and maybe after some initial conversations, the importance of that still isn't sinking in, the teacher monitor would be a really good resource in moving forward and following conversations. And then beyond ACE, we help students get school credit for their ACE internships. We can help with science fairs or publications. And then beginning this year, we've launched a partnership with the University of Portland Library Publishing symposiums in a repository. So students will have a citation they can reference for the rest of their career that summarizes their ACE research progress, projects, and their symposium presentations. And their whole summer, really, because that's what their symposium presentation summarizes. And a little bit more about our program events. Our interns are going to be absent from your offices and labs on these dates. And these events are all taking place online rather than in person again this year. So Midsummer Conference is a college preparation and college choice panel. It's also going to be career and networking workshops and some instructions on how to get ready for symposium. And then symposium, which is the grand finale event of the ACE summer. The interns will make formal presentations in small groups online. And there is a keynote speaker this year who is a former ACE student, and that's now in the medical field. And the mentors and community at large are invited. Unlike last year, we're hoping to arrange a format so mentors and family will be able to watch the intern presentations live, in addition to posting the recordings on our website. And as we discuss the next topic, please know there are quite a few resources found on our current mentors webpage on our website. So please feel free to visit and reference any of those. So what are our expectations of you guys, our mentors? Primarily to provide a professional learning experience. Interns will gain professional skills while building confidence and autonomy with you. At their orientation, I will be encouraging students to ask questions, take notes, and to be comfortable not knowing it all right in the beginning. This summer is going to be so good for our students, and I thank you for leading them. We also hope you will provide safety and training. For those internships that will be on site this summer, that includes PPE and training on how to use equipment, and also reference the rule of 3 on mentor expectations. Basically avoid situations where you are alone with an intern. Ideally, there would be 2 adults present at all time. When that's not possible, at minimum, inform another colleague when you're planning to spend time alone with an intern. It's a good idea to stay in view of others if possible and to leave doors open during one-on-one meetings. And then to ensure a safe and inclusive environment is not just physical, but emotional too, like Rachel mentioned. And the emotional side is to let your intern know that it's safe to share a new idea and to express confusion or ask questions without judgment when they are with you. And that's going to come in a lot of different forms, just depending on the intern. So communication is going to be your best friend when navigating the emotional safety aspect with your intern. And then for communication, we encourage you to have a plan, create and track goals. And a great tool for that is the Mentor Plan template. I've linked that on the Mentor Resources tab on the website. Think not only about the project the student will be doing, but what other interactions and experiences they might want to have during your time together. So this tool can guide your conversations with your intern about their larger goals. And you can adapt this tool and make it your own. It's for you and your mentor, or excuse me, you and your intern to communicate. So make it exactly how you need it to be. And I encourage you to meet with your intern as often as possible, especially while online. And we'll dive a little deeper into that in a couple of slides. And I encourage you to address your issues quickly and use your teacher monitors. They're a great resource. And providing a workspace and tools is going to vary now depending on if you're going to be an in-person internship or a virtual internship. If you're in person, that's oftentimes a workstation and computer access. And like I said, what does tools mean now? So for remote internships, it may be technology, internet access, or software. Try to ask your intern what they have access to and what they know how to use, and not assume that they know how to use tools. And let us know if your intern, like Rachel said, is lacking any sort of essential tools, and we'll work with them to make sure that they have everything that they need for their summer to be successful. And lastly, including students in the community. It's definitely tough when you're virtual to include a student in a community that maybe isn't as existing when everybody's working from home. But is there a standing staff meeting they could join and have a certain appointment they report on every week? Is there informational interviews with colleagues they could do based on their interests? Is there a speaker series they could join? Is there TED Talks they could watch that is a big hit in your office? It's just all about making sure that the intern feels included in the co-working dynamic. So again, you can find all of those resources on the SaturdayAcademy.org/current mentors at the tab Additional Resources. So now moving forward to the best practices, and again, this isn't one size fits all. Some of you are going to be virtual, some of you are hybrid, which is on a scale. That could mean that you are having one site tour and the rest of the summer is virtual. That could mean that you're in the office 4 days a week. And some of you are in person every day. So again, mold these best practices to fit you. These are what we've gathered from teacher monitors who worked last summer and advice from interns last summer, and really just a lot of feedback that was gathered to sort of create tips and best practices and advice for you moving forward this summer. So in a virtual setting, it's a good idea to set a schedule and expectations early on and then stick with them. Remember that this is oftentimes our intern's first experience in a professional environment. More communication is better than less communication. Early in the internship, set a schedule for a regular check-in where the intern can talk about what they are working on, share ideas, and ask questions. It should also be a safe space to share concerns and talk about current stressors in their internship. In talking with our teacher monitors from last year, they advised it's helpful to do check-ins as sort of the bookends of the day. So you know when your intern sort of is logging in, when they're logging off, and what they are sort of working on, so that there's not a big ambiguity and that your intern has a reliable time of when they know they can count on talking to you, so they can ask you questions at that time. Additionally, sometimes it's hard for interns to understand how their projects fits into the bigger arc of your organization. So while it's important to focus on the small stuff, don't forget to help your intern understand the 10,000-foot view as well. And it's even more difficult to see the 10,000-foot view when you're not seeing your coworkers in person either. So really, again, communication is going to be key here because you don't get to see them in person and see what they're working on and have that in-person interaction. Additionally, in considering your intern's needs, you will likely need to find out where they are in terms of skills as well as your expectations of them. Setting and managing expectations can be a huge help in managing the intern and making the internship go smoothly. So what are your digital expectations? When does the intern have to be available on email? Do they need to reply within a certain amount of time? Is there also a chat app that needs to be used in addition to email? Are you a cameras on organization during meetings? Make this as consistent as possible and communicate that to the intern early so they know what to expect when they're logging on every day. Give due dates. Again, more information is going to be really, really helpful to the intern early on and will set them up for success later on. Don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel either. You can use existing work from home guidelines from your organization and just apply them to the intern as long as you're communicating those expectations to them. So another thing I want to let you guys know is that building familiarity is key. So creating that community is going to be a good way to make the intern feel welcomed and to build rapport with their coworkers. And you might find yourself more engaged than you were expecting to. And this will also help your intern know who to go to and how to approach them when they have questions about certain aspects of their projects. And moving on to sort of a hybrid internship, when you're moving from digital to in-person and vice versa, have a clear agenda and set goals to eliminate idle time in person. It's important to remember that interns live with their parents and may come from multi-generational and high-risk households, and they may have unique concerns to take into consideration when interacting in person. If your internship has in-person aspects, we confirmed household members were aware of the commitment to be in person and okayed it as part of their offer call. But again, communication and clear expectations is key when managing COVID risk. And like Rachel mentioned, it's key when managing just a trauma-informed internship. All of our students have really endured a stressful school year, so making sure that we make them feel as safe as possible when interacting in person is really important. And lastly, another thing that's sort of logistical when moving in person is when visiting the first day, consider that the student may not know how to work tools again. For example, they may not know how to log into their in-person workstation, and they might not have access to certain files that they do at one workstation if they're not in the cloud. So again, just keeping in mind that tech issues can slow down deliverables, and there might be some just downtime for those transition days, just in the nature of moving between workplaces and workstations. And just to go over some OHA guidelines with you guys, I'm sure many of your workplaces have already implemented many of these OHA guidelines, and these were released on 4/29/21. So we know that in the last couple weeks, things have changed dramatically with guidance from the state and the CDC, but the guidance from 4/29 was to configure workspaces to be 6 feet apart, to wear masks and face coverings, and that still does apply to non-vaccinated people, and to frequently clean commonly touched surfaces. And other recommendations include having hand sanitizer out when washing your hands isn't available, to open windows so that there's air movement, to stagger meeting times in boardrooms, and then to take your break outside in open spaces so that you're not crammed into a small break room. And we have this link available if anybody's interested in reading more about the OHA guidelines for themselves. I'd be happy to send you this link. So let's talk about what supports are in place for you to get all of these expectations done. Being a mentor with the ACE programs means you also get the benefit of many other mentors' experiences and our experiences, so we can help support you in the best way possible. So what can you expect from ACE? We ensure a quality program and experience for you and your intern. We're the point of contact in emergencies. We are going to organize conferences. We are going to do those stipend disbursements, and we can provide liability insurance and documentation to students of the internship so they can get credits from their school or help with their college applications. Again, touching on those teacher monitors, they provide the support to students as well as some program logistics, and they're going to conduct 2 site visits and interviews with interns and mentors. And the teacher monitor will be contacting you to schedule visits. Many are online. This year, we've advised the teacher monitors that they're encouraged to do in-person site visits for internships that are occurring in person. However, that's going to depend on the comfort level of the teacher monitor, the comfort level of the intern, the comfort level of you, the mentor, and in addition, the policies of the hosting organizations, and if there are visitors permitted in the office. So really a lot of variables. So we're anticipating a lot of site visits to be done virtually again this year. Our teacher monitors take photos if possible if they're going to be visiting in person, and then they coordinate the thank you letters at the end of the year. And they're just a resource all around. They've connected a lot of interns to, like Rachel talked about, women in science, and OMSI does really great STEM meetings for young folks in the evenings that they've connected previous interns to. So they're a really great asset to connect to. They also help us with events like symposium, and they're available if issues arise. Okay, so that about covers it. And I guess we can look and see if there are any questions in the chat from you guys. I know that was a lot of information. So let's see what we can answer.
Thank you, Mara. After all this time, I still can't figure out how to unmute. One question I don't know the answer to, is the MSc and symposium part of the 296 hours, or is it in addition to?
It's in addition to. So since it's those 296 hours should really be contact hours with the mentor. So since they're going to be stepping away from their internship to do the conference, it doesn't count towards that expectation of contact hours with the mentor. So really shouldn't count towards that 296 hours. But again, if this year they need to count towards that 296 hours for extenuating circumstances outside, please let us know, and we can work with the intern on a case-by-case basis.
And this may or may not be a question, but those hours do cover all time at the workplace too. So at meetings and meeting other people. So it's not just the one-on-one contact with you as the mentor. Let's see. And there was a question, Mara, about the citations, and I think we'll send more info out when that's further along the road. And we will include past students for sure. We will also email out this webinar, which we're recording.
Yes, it will be linked on our website in that same current, that resources for current mentors tab. So it'll be up on the website.
And yes, so a mentor is asking, my company is based in Beaverton, Oregon, and my intern is based in Redmond, Washington. Assuming a full remote internship experience is okay. Yes. So yeah, that the student signed up for that. I'm hoping they're not going to try to That wouldn't work. So an intern might think it will, but that would stop pretty quick.
And again, we know that everybody's workplace is at a different spot on their reopening and, plate journey. So it might be that some workplaces are virtual because there's nobody in the office, and that's totally fine. It just depends on the organization.
Great questions, everybody. Keep them coming. Anything else?
Okay. I think I saw one in the Q&A. Oh, it was answered. Okay.
And if questions come up later on, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. My email is rachel@saturdayacademy.org, and we have Mara at Saturday Academy. Our contact info is on our website. If a phone call works better. And then also we will be connecting you with the teacher monitor for your intern shortly. And so you'll also have their contact as well.
Yes. Wow, this is so exciting. My PowerPoint, it must be so thorough that there's no questions. Great. Well, if there's no questions, I want to be really respectful to everybody's time. Like Rachel said, any future questions come up, you can always contact us. We're happy to help. Otherwise, take care. Thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to hopefully one day being together in person soon. It is much overdue, I think. So take care. I'm looking forward to a great summer, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you in advance for the summer.
Yes, yes.